In this portion of the lab, you're going to complete the motion studies animation tutorial within Solidworks. So this tutorial has you start with this pre-built model that's already all constrained and mated, where it's this toggle clamp thing of some kind. So the idea is that when you move this handle, the linkage will pull the plunger back and forth, like a machine fixturing clamp or a setup clamp or something like that. So one of the things that's fun and satisfying about SolidWorks is when you get your assembly mating conditions set up correctly so that these pins, for example, rotate around each other, you can make your parts move and behave in ways that they would actually interact with each other when you go through the machine shop and actually make the parts. So to get to the tutorial, you're going to go help SolidWorks tutorials, and the one that you're looking for is under the design evaluation tab. And you should have this check option for animation. You should open this file. If for some reason your computer doesn't have the assembly motion add-ins installed yet, if you look at the bottom of the part here, you'll see this motion study tab is what you're going to do most of this tutorial with. So if you don't have that, you're going to need to go up to the top of SolidWorks menu bar and go to Tools and then Add-ins at the bottom. And when you open this Add-ins box, these are the different options that you selected when you installed SolidWorks. You need to make sure that the checkboxes for motion and for simulation, which we're going to use next week, are both turned on. So make sure those are turned on. You're going to go through and follow the instructions in this assembly, and what you're going to end up with at the end is you're going to end up with a video showing the clamp moving back and forth to a few positions and a couple of the components changing appearance, either to wireframe or change color or various things during the course of the assembly video. And the one tip that I want to give you before you start that's a little bit confusing is when you go to move your parts around. So I'm going to set this in the closed position, and this bar at the bottom is incremented in amounts of time. So in the tutorial, it'll have you drag the time bar, which is this bar at the bottom, back and forth to different locations. And what that does is it allows you to set instances that different things happen to your assembly at different times through the video that you're going to create. So the first one that it has you do is you have to move the time bar to some amount. And if you get the time bar close to the right amount of time, that's close enough. Don't stress about getting it exactly to 5 seconds or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the time bar over to something around 2¼ seconds. I'm going to find the plunger here. And what I'm going to do is now that I've moved the time bar over there, I'm going to move this part to the open position. When I let go of it, it creates this green line and these little diamonds. They're called key points. And when I go to the top of the motion toolbar and click calculate, it'll calculate the motion study for what happens to all of those components that are in the assembly at intermediate times while this is running. And then we'll let you play this animation back and forth. So once this animation is set up, you're going to end up being able to create a video file at the end, which will be useful for things like presentations. You can email them as part of a submission. You can use them for marketing and for all kinds of things. So that is the purpose of going through this one, is it'll give you another tool with which to make some interesting media with your SolidWorks assemblies.